Video will be titled "The World, the Role of Entertainment Television." You go back in the day, like back in the day, 1800s, in early 1900s and below, the way you culturize people or made them adapt to cultural norms was through books, books. They were meant to use to indoctrinate people with a certain belief system and a way to conduct themselves in certain situations. But the role of books have sort of been is outdated now, and television, movies have replaced that. Television and movies is an indoctrination process, and I think it's actually more thorough than books. Like, here's a good example. I'm gonna use women in this one. Women are taught to be materialistic and vain and go for, and women are taught that they should desire certain things out of society, and men are inducted with the belief that they should want, well, I'm not going to say they've been indoctrinated for this, but men want women, right? So they have done in society is to control the woman. That's how you control the man, and control the woman. You get the man to use his money and resources to help the economy. You see what I'm saying? Like they say, women want a man who got money, drive this car. If a man drives a Mercedes Benz, that's a sign that he has money. So he'll go out and get a Benz to get the woman, or he should dress this way, or he should do this and do that to get a woman, buy this and buy that. And women want this and women want that. That's just a way of controlling people and fueling the economy. Because I know most dudes, and I'm talking about average guys. I'm not talking about guys who can see through the veil who would be more extraordinary than anything. Guys who are, I would say, like, who really practice the Ibmore thing. Those guys are more extraordinary than you would think. But because most guys would do anything for sex and for women, and the things that dudes would do for sex and a woman, kind of mind-boggling to a guy who is past that mindset. It's sort of elementary. It's sort of an elementary mindset. It's like those guys are like in middle school and you're in high school. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with doing some good things for the people you love or whatnot. But they've turned it into an extreme. It's very extreme now. It's like I said in another video. It's just like when when a club they let the women in for free in order to get the men in it, the men in to because the men want the women, and the men will come in and spend their money. They'll pay to get in the club. They'll pay to buy drinks and things of that nature. So that's why black women and women in America are so foul and fucked up. It's all in the plan. Television, people like Steve Harvey, Oprah, all those women that say things like, you can do what you want. You're a liberated woman. You can sleep with who you want to sleep with, have as many kids by many different men if you want to. It's your God given right. Well, that's why they do that, to help fund and fuel this economy. And I was talking to somebody today, and they were telling me about a lot of deadbeat dudes who got kids by different women, but they don't do shit. They don't take care of the kids. They don't send them no money, things of that nature. And I replied to them. I told them that the reason that they do that is because those guys have no motivation. And the reason that they don't have any motivation is because they're getting what they want from women without having to do anything. I know guys with no job, barely can read, but they have several baby mothers. And you ask why is that? How's that? Well, that's because, like I said, those guys have no motivation. And guys who chase pussy, I know I'm off topic here. Guys who chase pussy, those guys' priorities are fucked up from the start. Like, here's a picture of the late great Stokely Carmichael, aka, well, he changed his name to Kwame Ture. Here's a guy who knew his purpose. He knew his purpose, and most great men do. They don't spend their whole life chasing women and pussy. Those are the dudes who don't have any direction. And ironically, society wants more of these guys because these guys are not a threat. They're not a threat. They're tame, what I call tamed Negroes. But the role of television in creating certain personalities throughout society is big. Like black people through hip hop was giving people like Pac and Bone and thugs, gangsters. That wasn't something that just sprang up. Hip hop was a very positive art form at one time, and I'm a fan of Pac because there was greatness there, and a lot of guys. But see, white people will always take something that you created and they'll pervert it. Let me give you a good example. Eminem is a great example of white supremacy, so called. See, I don't really like to use that term because that term in itself is empowering the white people. Well, Eminem is an example of white privilege and white supremacy because he's used to empower the white image. Every generation when black people have come up with different shit, musically speaking, the king of it has always been called white. I mean, the king of it has always been through the white media and things like that. Been a white guy. Elvis, the king of rock. Benny Goodman, the king of swing. You see what I'm saying? See, those that right there, like I can't go on any video. Well, let me put it this way: I see several videos, several about Eminem, like people voicing their opinion about Eminem. Like it's like, why the fuck are people still talking about Eminem? He's been gone. He hasn't been hot since maybe 2005, 2006. But they're gonna continue to toot his horn because he's the white guy, and they want people to talk about him like years later on, like they do with Elvis. Even though most motherfuckers don't even really listen to Elvis. I know I kind of got off topic, but there's a lot of layers to this shit, and it's really hard to just break it all down. I'm not as eloquent as some other people, but the role of television is crucial. Like, let me say one more thing. Like the swirling thing, they're promoting that throughout damn near all the media now. Everything they're saying about like white guys, they're all good, they're all great. You know what I'm saying? It's all pre-programmed. It's all programmed. It's social engineering, trying to get a certain population to date out, and those things will break the black community eventually. It already has, but it'll do it even more so.